Hello, everyone, and welcome to Harv's World for another episode of Pineapple Bay.
Hold fast! She's on us! You see her? Round the cannons! The magazine! It's going out! Douse the flames! Get in there, you mongrel!
Oh, I need to pay attention to what I'm doing here. That was a heck of a daydream. Sorry about that. Let's get started. Let's get going, because there is plenty of work to do. It is a bright early morning here on Pineapple Bay. The sun is shining. The red dirt is gleaming. And it's going to be a busy, busy day. So, I got my big field, that 35-acre field, finally planted with oats. My God, I've got to do something about that cedar. It's awful. It just takes ages. I've got two tiny cedars, and even with the helper, it's just taking forever. So I got to look into a solution for that. Not my biggest concern at the moment. My big concern is that crop has started to sprout, and let me tell you, it sprouted an awful lot of weeds. And of course, we can't get any herbicide. Trying to order something from the shop is kind of like pulling teeth. They couldn't get me one. And it just so happens that while I was in there, my neighbor, Elizabeth, she said she has an old weeder that she would let me have, actually, if I would come down and plow her field. And she said it should be right down here. There's an old silo that doesn't get used anymore. I think it's down here somewhere. Ooh, that's steep. So I said, well, Elizabeth, yes, I'd be happy to come down and plow your field. And so she's going to pay me for plowing that field, and it looks like this is probably what she's talking about. But she threw this in with the deal. She's got fields all around me. So I imagine I'll be seeing quite a little bit of Elizabeth. And probably quite a bit of her fields. But I got plenty of work to do of my own. I need to get down here, work on her field. I need to get the weeds out of my big field, and I need to get oilseed radish in the old cotton field. So that's going to be the big plan. It's going to require a lot of help today. Lots of help. And I learned a little bit of something else talking to the locals. Because, well, I said, what are you guys doing? Because there's no fertilizer. I'm like, what can you do to fertilize your crops? And a couple of them said, oh, they just don't worry about it. They take what they can get, blah, blah, blah. But one guy said, if you compact the soil after you plant, after you seed, you can make it almost act like it was fertilized. Getting the right compacted soil will increase the growth, increase your harvest. So I said, well, I've got some rollers on my farm. I wasn't sure what they were for, and he said, yeah, that's probably what they were using them for, was to get the soil compacted and get that that fertilizer. Pseudo-natural fertilizer working on there. So we're going to take a look at those today and try to get the oats a second fertilizer state. So we're gonna look at that also. Oh, what am I bringing this up here for? This needs to go straight down to the oat field. There we go. So yeah, we are going to be bebopping around quite a bit. But I'm also going to be hiring plenty of helpers, and God knows there's no shortage of helpers around this place. Luckily, I've got this little old tractor here. Hey, that still works like a charm. Outstanding. Very nice indeed. So, let's get a helper working, shall we? First thing I want to do is check and make sure that these helpers are getting paid. Yes, they are. Very good. $6 meters, very good. Field 44. Oh yeah, we definitely want headlands. And let's see how old course play does for us on this field. Oh, I'd say that's pretty darn good. I like it. Okay. Let's back him up a little bit. And drive course at the first waypoint. And away he goes. It's nice to have some money finally that we can get some workers working for us. Actually, let me double check that because it didn't look like he was being paid there, so I want to make sure. I said activate. Okay. There we go. Now he's being paid. That's what we wanted to see. Okay. So let's get back over to the farm. We're going to grab our other small tractor here. We're going to look into those rollers. These things right here. I'm doing this the hard way. Why wouldn't I? Isn't that the Harv way? The hard way is the Harv way. Okay, so I'm going to drop that one off there. Drop this one off here. And of course these are going to be super touchy. Especially when you can't drive properly to begin with. Almost. There we go. That works. Now this one's going to be a real pain. I just know it already. Maybe I can just sneak right along here as close as possible. Pull right up there. Keep your fingers crossed. See if we can get this first try. Oh, yes. It's the little victory sometimes. Ooh, those are bouncy. Okay. Now what I should have done, what I'm going to do right now, is go find my other tractor that's weeding. I need to save his course. I'll call this 44 weed. Save that bad boy. Jump back over to this tractor, because these are both 6 meters, so I should be able to get a course working by loading 44 weed on this tractor. That looks pretty good. And here we're doing field work. And drive course. And he's going to run right out to that first spot. Turn on his rollers. Now let's take a look and see what's happening. And I can't zoom in enough to see. Oh, this could be bad because I think the weeder's going to be in the next lane, so hopefully he'll just blow right by. Keep your fingers crossed. So as these rollers go along, yep, you can see it. You can see the darker blue line right there. So good. These rollers are creating a little bit of a fertilized state for us, just by compacting the soil. Outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Who says you have to have chemical fertilizer anyway? I mean, it's only 6 meters at a time, but we'll take what we can get. And I'm going to wait for this weeder to come up behind me because I might have to switch these guys' places so they don't crash into each other. But yeah, that's pretty slick. I like that. I like that a lot. Turn this off. Come on. You got room, buddy. Well, that worked. Sort of. At least the weeder is shorter than the roller, so it'll just slide right under it. Outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Very cool. Okay. Now what else have we got going on today? Well, I'll tell you what else we've got going on today. Everything. We have got everything going on. Now, I've been doing a little bit of research. It's been a busy few days, and getting started anywhere. Getting started anywhere in a new place always requires a ton of research, figuring out how things work. And I told you, this is going to be all about making rum, finding a way to recreate the Pirates Bay rum recipe. And in that recipe, we obviously figured out we need water, yeast, and sugar cane. What I really need is a distillery. somebody who knows how to distill, because frankly, if you don't know what you're doing, distilling hard alcohol can be deadly, literally quite deadly. Even in that recipe, it's talking about don't use the first collection or whatever, or unless you want to be dead. Yeah, there's two types of alcohol that come off of a distillery. One of them will kill you, the other will not. And we want the kind that won't kill you. That's kind of important. So that's the final goal, getting a distillery. Now, how am I going to do that, you might ask? Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you indeed, because I have got a plan. Now, one other thing that we know that we need is going to be kegs. We're going to need some kegs. There's no getting around that. I went down to the local sawmill. Well, I'll tell you, I don't know why there's a local sawmill, because there's no forest on this island. None whatsoever. But be that as it may, the local sawmill really just only does rough cut lumber and then ships it out. They don't do any finishing or special cuts or anything. So, in order to make kegs, I'm going to need my own personal sawmill. So my first goal is going to have to be to set up a sawmill, and not only the sawmill, but plant some trees. Get those trees grown, cut, replaced. It's going to become a cycle of growing trees, cutting them down, getting my sawmill to cut them the way that I need to. And that's the first stage of the process of making rum. And of course, figuring out how to grow sugarcane, getting sugarcane equipment, all of that good stuff. Water, obviously, is pretty darn easy. That's going to be the only easy part of this. This is going to require some effort. Not that we have an issue with effort, right? Right. So, the plan is grow some bloody trees. Grow some bloody trees, and while the trees are growing, keep the farm working as hard as I can to get the money together to put in a sawmill. And you remember that piece of property that I was passing the other day, and I said, hey, keep an eye on that. Well, that might just be the perfect location. The perfect location to put in my sawmill. And that's what I'm going to be, that's the goal I'm going to be working toward. In fact, if we take a look over there, it was this one right here, I think. Yeah, I think that's it, but that's $173,000. So clearly I don't have that kind of money yet. With a little bit of luck, this farm will provide that money. I just have to get my ducks in a row here. That's going to be very, very important. It's a big goal. It's a lot to attempt, but I'll get it done. I always do. And the sideline of that is, with a little luck, the distillery should be able to make more than just rum. But I'd have to find other recipes for that. So we'll see. But all I care about right now is the rum. I want the Pirates Bay rum. Nice Pirates Bay rum label on the bottle. Make a good quality product. Ship it out. And hopefully, with a little luck, that'll start turning profit too. and we'll get things settled here. Pineapple Bay is my oyster. And I'm gonna crack it. Okay, well, I just put one headland pass in here, and I'm gonna see if just a traditional helper can work this field for me. Instead of getting all up in course play. So that'll be 3 helpers working today. It's a good thing I made that money. There's just so much to do. I mean, this place is massive, just massive, and trying to keep up on it. But, you know, I don't know how my aunt did it. Honestly. There is too much going on. Okay, while these guys are working my fields, I am going to head down to Elizabeth's field. And she didn't actually ask me to plow her field. She wanted it cultivated. But that'll bring in some extra money. Hopefully enough money to pay these workers today. So it'll be kind of break even, but at least I have a way to control my weeds now. That was actually the important part. Yeah, I know that weeder's not exactly a high quality piece of equipment, but it does the job, and more importantly, it does the job. That's what's really important at the moment. Look at those rollers go. That's pretty slick. I like that. I like that a lot. I could use another good sized tractor too, and I know getting one is going to be a big challenge. Oh, which in turn reminds me of something else. I need to plant trees. And surprisingly, man, I've been doing so much digging through and reading and all kinds of junk. Anyway, we just passed it back there, but it's the biogas plant. Well, where that biogas plant is sitting, oh, I just passed the turn in, I think. Not close enough. I can cross this field, I guess. Anyway, where that biogas plant is sitting, they built the biogas plant on my aunt's property. She basically sold part of her property for them to build the plant there. And with the understanding that she could use whatever they didn't. That's the agreement. So there are some plots right around that biogas plant that are unused. And I think they might just be big enough for my trees. We're going to find out. Now, the other nice benefit of her making this deal and selling part of her land to the biogas company is that she gets to use that facility also. That is a pretty sweet deal. Yeah, I found the papers in her stuff last night, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. This is a bit of a game changer here. Now, I don't know that she's ever taken advantage of it, but ooh, that's a lot of field to cultivate. This is going to be a long day. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much the story. That's the plan. She has access to that land around the biogas plant and has access to use the biogas plant. So, we've got that working for us. I don't know how well it's going to work for us. Gonna have to do some more digging. Gonna have to see. But we'll find out. Well, that takes care of Elizabeth's field. And I have to tell you, her field's a little bit rough in some places, but I still managed to get the job done. This field is completely cultivated. I'm sure she'll be very pleased with the job. I told her I had just the tool to do it. She said, well, we'll see about that. And I said, I'm sure you'll be satisfied. I guess we'll find out. And yeah, that paid up about $8,000, and that's probably going to be just about enough to pay off the workers for today, because man, they have been eating through the profits. That's okay. I don't mind. I need the help. There is a lot going on here, let me tell you. A lot going. This is a big, big place. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not surprised that it's a big place. But I'm going to cut through this field too. It looks like it's ready to be cultivated anyway, so it's not going to hurt anything, right? Right. It's not like I'm running over their crops or anything, right? Right. So I am going to slowly but surely get this back up to my farm. I almost said my aunt's farm again, and no, we're not doing that anymore. She gave it up, man. Well, not like she had a choice. Eventually, the Grim Reaper comes for us all. I am grateful, though. I mean, I know she didn't even know me, and she just wanted to keep the farm in the family, but... oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Do you see what I see? I see a whole bunch of advanced weeds out there that didn't get taken care of in time. And that's not good. Oops. Well, at least we got most of them. At least we got most of them. I better go stop that worker. He's getting paid to do nothing at the moment, because he's going to run around with that weeder and go, hey, I'm just going to drive through these weeds and I'm not going to stop, because that would make sense. And that would be this guy here, I think. No. That would be this guy here, I think. Yeah, see, he's trying to weed and it's having no effect. Stop, fool. Well, he did get an awful lot done. We're just not going to have a great field on this one. It's going to be a good field, but not a great field. And it looks like the oilseed radish is in, so that's good. That's 2 workers done. We still might end up ahead on the day. And I'll tell you, planting this field with oats, I probably spent about $8 grand on seed. This thing does not fool around. This field will eat seed like crazy. It does look pretty decent, except for that patch out there. A little bit disappointed that that didn't get taken care of, but that's alright. We'll be okay. We will be just fine. I'll keep my roller guy working. No problem. I don't know how much this tractor has left in it. Let me tell you, he's sounding pretty rough. And God, is he loud! It's all right. Ooh, wear your earplugs when you're driving that guy. Hey, this looks pretty good. Looks like he did a pretty decent job. Excellent. Very cool indeed. One thing that we haven't talked about yet, had an opportunity to talk about yet, is pirates. So, yeah, I've been thinking a lot about pirates, as you could probably tell, since I had such a weird dream. That was very strange. But cool. It was an exciting dream. Anyway, the golden age of pirates was from about 1650 to 1725. Now, there were pirates a long time before that, and there's still pirates today. People that capture seagoing vessels for their own profit. But what's considered the golden age of piracy, when pirates were really in full swing, was that time from 1650 to 1725. And now, I've mentioned that my aunt is a descendant of Mary Read, who was one of 2 female pirates. In fact, her name was Anne Bonny Read. And Anne Bonny and Mary Read were 2 female pirates on the ship of Jack Rackham. Now, Jack Rackham's nickname was Calico Jack because I guess he apparently loved to wear calico. And what's interesting, and I did not know this until very recently, after I put my flag up, I have to say, that this particular pirate flag with the 2 swords crossed underneath the skull, this flag was specific to Jack Rackham. Each pirate kind of had their own pirate flag, and they all looked different, and it was sort of their symbol. You know, what we would consider in this day and age their trademark, if you will. And a lot of people say the two crossed swords under the skull on Jack Rackham's flag represented Mary Read and Anne Bonny. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but the possibility is very definitely there. So, what's interesting about that is, we can easily transition into learning a little bit more about Jack Rackham, and it would be interesting to do that simply because he was associated with Mary Read. Now, they don't know much about Jack Rackham's early life. They don't know where he was necessarily born, raised, anything like that. All they know is that he was born in England, and he doesn't appear in the pirates, in the history of pirates, until he was the quartermaster on a ship captained by Charles Vane. Now, Charles Vane was famous for capturing Nassau in the Bahamas, and Jack Rackham was with him when he captured Nassau. But he wasn't a captain. He was just Calico Jack. Well, at some point after that, on the ship, Charles Vane was running from a ship twice his size. He's like, oh no, we can't fight that ship. We can't fight that ship at all. I'm going to jump in this tractor. It's too big. We got to run. Well, Jack Rackham said, no. We're not running from anybody. We need to fight. And Vane put his foot down and said, I'm the captain, and what I have to say is the gospel. So deal with it. Well, Rackham gathered the crew, and they basically voted Charles Vane out. Called him a coward, said, no, we're not with you anymore. We don't want you to be our captain anymore. And what they did was put him on a different ship with the people who agreed with him. Out of like 90 crew members, maybe 15 said Vane was fine. The rest of them said, nope, he's gone. He's out of here. So anyhow, that's when Captain Jack became Captain Jack. Captain Jack Rackham, by the way, not Captain Jack Sparrow, the goofy guy played by Johnny Depp, which is good fun. I've said that before. But this is real pirates, not not the Jack Sparrow pirates. Anyhow, after he took over Charles Vane's ship, he just started plundering ships all along the coast in the West Indies, around the Bahamas, Cuba, stuff like that. And at some point, a guy by the name of Woodes Rogers, another very famous name during the golden age of piracy, Woodes Rogers was sent to the Bahamas because piracy had become so rampant that the British felt they had to do something about it because their merchant vessels were being attacked and robbed. It makes complete sense, right? Of course it does. So, Jack Rackham and his crew, and we mentioned this when we talked about Anne Bonny a little bit, Mary Read a little bit, came to Nassau to accept the governor's pardon. Woodes Rogers pardoned the pirates, said if you behave yourselves, and stop being a pirate, then we'll let you go. That lasted for a short time, but eventually they went back to a life of piracy. Now, at some point, he captured a merchant ship called the Kingston, and that became his flagship. It's the one ship that Jack Rackham is known for, the Kingston. The problem with capturing the Kingston was that he did it too close to shore and was seen by a bunch of merchants capturing this ship, and of course the ship had the goods that the merchants wanted, and Rackham was stealing them. So the merchants all got together, pitched in their money, and hired a bunch of pirate hunters to go out and track him down. So they did eventually track him down, but he and his men had gone ashore. The Kingston was captured, but the pirates escaped on foot, basically. So Rackham and his crew dodged a bullet there. So, of course, at this point, the governor, Woodes Rogers, has no choice but to declare Jack Rackham and his crew pirates once again. And they're basically targeted at this point. People are definitively going after them. No question about it. So he already had the pirate hunters after him, and the pirate hunters were actually semi-famous too. There was a Jonathan Barnett and a Jean Bonadivis, or something similar to that. They were hunting him down, and near Jamaica, where Rackham was known to frequent, and he was basically harassing fishing vessels. I don't know what kind of booty you would get off of fishing vessels, but whatever it was, he was all over it. But they ultimately did track him down. There was a big bloody fight at the end, and we talked about that a little bit too, where Mary Read and Anne Bonny were a couple of the last people on deck, still trying to fight off these pirate hunters, and ultimately they were all captured, of course. And this happened in a place called Dark Harbor Bay in Jamaica. They were ultimately taken to Port Royal and put on trial, and Rackham was executed on the 18th of November 1720. He was only in his 30s, like 36, 37 years old, and they actually put his body on a gibbet and put it on display at one of the main entrances, the seaside main entrances to Port Royal, and it's actually known as Rackham's Cay. It still holds that name to this day. So that's pretty interesting. So these pirates, I don't know. I'm a pirate geek. I can't help it. It's who I am. I make no apologies. I love pirates. Absolutely love them. So, we've got our oil sea radish in. Elizabeth Field has been plowed. Well cultivated, really. We found a new way to compact the soil and fertilize. We've attempted to eradicate weeds and been successful in some degree, and managed to pick up a new piece of equipment in the process, although the size of this field might prohibit it from being terribly useful. We'll find out. And we figured out how to make rum, at least the beginning stages. The next two steps or the first steps in making rum are getting some bloody trees planted and finding the money to open a sawmill. That's the goal. That's the goal. And we are going to pursue it. So I think that's going to do it for this episode of Pineapple Bay. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. As always, I appreciate you coming along for the ride. And until next time, take care.